All of you are welcome to the today Dhamma talk. So today my turn for this month. So last month talk I did in the 31st of last month. So now today I'm doing this talk. So then today I thought to talk about how this we have to train our mind to not to fall into the unskillful states, because when our mind fall into unskillful mental states, so it leads to the unskillful verbal actions and bodily actions. So that is the thing we should understand and keep in mind, because this body and mind is a natural phenomena. It is automatically works according to the way you were trained or you were practiced. So then when you encounter different situations, different objects, mind automatically works. And then your verbal actions, bodily actions coming behind this, your mental actions. It is a part of the system. So it is not only for you, it is common for all living beings. So this is the nature. So that's why Lord Buddha encouraged people to practice the right thing. So that means sila, or the, how do you say, virtue, practice virtue. So if you are practice virtue, then it is helpful you to behave well in when you are facing difficult situations, or when you are dealing with other people living in this world. So that's why it is important to listen to their teachings. Whatever religion, all religions mostly teach their good things to people. But some places, the people, when they're going to describe too far, so they go to the wrong states. But actually, when you go to the basics of any religion, actually those things leads to the good mental states. So to cultivate good mentality. So once you cultivate good mentality, it leads to good verbal actions and bodily actions. So this is an important thing. So that's why it is important to keep in mind the basics of these all religions. Or now we are talking about Buddhism. So then the Buddhist teachings, the basic Buddhist teachings, then it is helpful you to maintain your mentality in a good the good way, or the good mentality you can cultivate and use. So Lord Buddha say the mind is the forerunner. So if your mind behave bad, or they go to the wrong mental states, it leads to the wrong verbal actions and bodily actions, which creates more suffering to you, unhappiness. So when you practice, when you tame your mind, listen, first the thing is, when you associate with good people, because mind is not yours, it is a part of the world. So this mind arises based on causes and conditions. This is the most important thing, according to Buddhism, we have to understand. So that's why it is important to associate with good people, the people who live in this world in a good way, practicing good virtue. They are practicing good verbal behaviors and bodily behaviors. You have to associate with such people. Then you naturally you cultivate good mental actions, the mentality, and then the verbal actions and bodily actions. Otherwise, if you think you are going to control these things and I am going to be good, yeah, it is okay. But then you have to find out what is good and what is bad. So how you judge good and bad? These judgments come to you based on your view, or how you see this life, how you take this life, how you train to deal with objects in your past. The different situations, different circumstances, how you are trained to deal with those circumstances or these situations, or encountering different things. So this training actually come from where you live, with whom you associate early. So mostly come from your parents or later your friends. This is a gradual process of happening things. This is the consequential. It is sequential. So that's why the Lord Buddha say you have to carefully examine what is beneficial and what is non-beneficial, what is good and what is bad. Lord Buddha, in brief, says these greed-based actions and hatred-based actions are unskillful, leads to suffering, leads to unhappiness. Sooner or later, you will face the unhappiness and remorse within yourself. So that's why Lord Buddha encouraged to first identify the greed-based, hatred-based actions, and these are unskillful. All this hate speech, this divisive speech, false speech, all these kind of the wrong speech leads to suffering. And these are come from the wrong the wrong understanding about the life, how this life works. So we think we can do these bad things and later we can behave well. But this wrong actions coming behind us. So the people, because once you do something wrong, so some other people see you and they keep, oh, this guy is like this. So they have the wrong understanding. That means not good understanding, bad understanding about you. Sometimes they react then in a different way. If you always behave well, so no one keep the ill will or harmful thoughts regarding you. So this is a sequence of happening things in your life. So that's why Lord Buddha encourage always to practice the good things, the good verbal actions and bodily actions. So it leads to your future happiness. So how you find out this? If you say in basics in Buddhism, if we take this body and mind is a natural phenomena, and all feelings, perceptions arise in this moment based on your past actions, past training. So these are maybe good or maybe not good. So that's why first thing you must train to let go most of the things, and train your mind to be calm and quiet. And first thing to let go, and then review what arose in my mind, whether this is skillful or unskillful. So that is a type of mindfulness. You are trained yourself. So this training you can get if you believe this is a natural phenomena. This body and mind work based on your past training or past the understanding. But it is good to review now again before use it. Use that feelings, perceptions, volitions arise within us. So then for doing it, first you have to cut off the value of the whatever thing arises within you and let it be, and then review again. So this reviewing, you have to train yourself. So then you can deal with your inner feelings, perceptions and volitions wisely. So not to fall into the unskillful verbal actions or bodily actions. So the important thing is this unskillful verbal actions and bodily actions. Basically, you learn when you are where you are living. So in the opposite, the skillful verbal actions and bodily actions also you learn from the society where you are living. So how do you the Lord Buddha give the guidelines to understand what is skillful and what is unskillful? So that's why Lord Buddha say these greed-based verbal actions and bodily actions leads to suffering. So that means the all false speech or the hate speech, this kind of actions arise because the greed. and hatred arise within you. So that's why when it arises within us, so then we have to let it be and let them fade away and disappear. This is a training. You have to train yourself. It doesn't arise automatically within yourself. You have to train yourself to behave like that, let go things, be calm, be quiet. So once it happens, you can think first. Mind is the forerunner. You have to think, oh, next time when I encounter this kind of situation, I don't behave like this. I first let the things be. I don't speak. I don't act bodily. I'll wait a little bit to calm down my mind. And then I will think again and do the right thing. Right verbal action or bodily action, then I use. So that kind of thinking you have to develop. Once you fall into the wrong verbal action or bodily action, so then you have to review and determine next time I will do like this. So you have to choose the right actions and the right verbal actions and bodily actions you have to choose and determine to use those things. And train your mind to use it. First thing, train your mind to be calm. Not to speak, not to act. So then you can choose the right thing. Otherwise, your verbal actions and bodily actions jump up and go in front. Because your mind is so fast. So that's why it is important to let go things. So that letting go is the third noble truth. That's the second noble truth is the craving, wanting arise within your mind. You have to suppress and let go. The Lord Buddha teach people to just let go the craving, wanting arise within your heart. So the third noble truth is Chago Patinisago. You just let go, give away things, and cut off this thinking process. So this upadana, taking in things, you have to stop and wait. Then, once you let go, you liberate your mind, then your anger, hatred disappear. So then you can deal again in the proper way. So that's why it is important to practice meditation in your life. If you able to practice daily, you have to reserve a time period and practice daily to let go things. So when you train your mind to let go and calm down, and achieve the peacefulness of your mind, it is really helpful when you are facing in difficult situations. You can quickly shut down your mouth and bodily actions, and you can peacefully wait and then review what you faced and how you deal with the situation skillfully. So this is the briefly I am explaining this how this is two verses of Dhammapada. I remind myself, and I would like to read it, so then you can ask questions regarding these things. So this is Acharya Buddharakkhita's translation. These are come in the minor collection of Tipitaka, the Kuddaka Nikaya, Dhammapada, Yamakavaka. This is the first two of the Dhammapada. Mind precedes all mental states. Mind is their chief. They are all mind wrought or mind made. If with an impure mind a person speaks or acts, suffering follows him like the wheel that follows the foot of the ox. So this is the second one. The mind precedes all mental states. Mind is their chief. They are all mind wrought, mind made. If with a pure mind a person speaks or acts, happiness follows him like his never departing shadow. So these are the two verses of Dhammapada. So the important thing is mind precedes. The mind is the one going first. So that's why it is good to train your mind to behave well or let go things. So that is why this meditation or associating with good people and cultivate good mental habits is good. It leads to, so even nowadays, I think even the psychologists and this kind of people also encourage the mindfulness and all these things, because it is helpful to maintain the well-being of the society, well-being of your own the things. That means your well-being, personal well-being also, based on this kind of training. So it is helpful to keep in mind, to use these knowledges. So these are come in Dhamma. In other religions also, if you believe the God, some people believe God, so it is okay. So then you take this body and mind based on the God's wish. So then you are kind to it. You are not going to control and control yourself or other people. In the same way, the Buddhism says this mind is a natural phenomena. So it runs based on causes and conditions. So once you are kind to yourself, then you can cultivate kindness, softness, gentleness to all other living beings, because their minds and bodies also run based on causes and conditions. We try to say this, that is that person's the wrongdoing, this person. There is no personalities, fixed personalities, but their karma, their past habits are supporting. That is true. So all these things depend on their way of with whom they were associated with early. So that's why how their minds make up comes. So it is a part of the natural phenomena in this world. So therefore, it is not good to blame other people or blame yourself. So only thing we can do to cultivate the good mentality, good verbal actions, bodily actions. In the same time, we can encourage other people also to do the same thing. Cultivate good mental actions and bodily actions and verbal actions. So encourage them to do, inspire them to do the right thing, based on the right understanding about this body and mind. Otherwise, we just blame to personalities, persons. So we take that person's wrongdoing, this person's wrongdoing, that's why this thing happened, that thing happened. That is actually not much helpful you to bring the peacefulness in your mind and cultivate the good verbal actions, bodily actions, and these mental actions. So these things cultivate if you see things in the right way. So if you have any questions, you can ask now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, thanks for the talk. So my question would be, you bring up that all the things around us affect our mind and that sort of a thing, which is all very true. So it's important to have good habits, like I think you might have overheard you say meditation and letting go of things and being around good quality people, because all that affects our mind. What other sort of behaviours would you say would be good habits, or, curious to hear a bit more on that, if you could. Thanks again.
Yeah. The next important thing is, what you remind me, is when you are cultivating the good habits, you have to practice again and again and again. Because if you have the bad habits early, so it is important to keep in mind. So you have to, those past habits also have a power to jump up and pop up in your mind and come to the actions. So that's why it is important to train the right thing again and again. First, you have to train your mind first. you have to do it again and again and again. So then your mind familiar with those things and quickly use those new training. Otherwise, your past training also effective, still effective, until you are start using the new training repeatedly. Once you start using it continuously, then the old your habits getting diminished and never come up. So the good training is basically, we say when we are dealing with the world, we have to use the kind words. When you are talking to people, always you have to calm down your mind and speak well, the kind words, soft words, gentle words. That's what Lord Buddha say to use. In the bodily actions also like that. You should not fall into the bad bodily actions which leads to suffering. Basically say this, the strongly wrong actions are the killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, that kind of things are going in everyone accept these things are wrong. Most people accept easily. These things are not helpful to the harmony among people, and it leads to suffering. In the same time, sometimes some minor bodily actions also create unhappiness in other people. So then that's why when you calm down your mind, you can behave well and behave mindfully, not to make other people disappointed or unhappy. So it is good. But in some situations, you are naturally may fall into these things. So you have to train yourself to avoid and behave peaceful manners. Behave the peaceful behaviors you have to cultivate. Verbal behaviors and bodily behaviors. So this is in brief. You have to understand that depends on where you are living and which kind of actions you are used for dealing with people in your day-to-day life. So that depends on the communities you are associated with. So the important thing is the mind. You should not act with the greed, hatred-based mind, unhappy mind. That is unskillful. When your mind comes to unskillful mental state, that means greed-based the thinking and hatred-based thinking, that leads to the unskillful verbal actions and bodily actions. So then, when you calm down your mind and calm down your hatred and let go it, and be kind to the person, first develop the kindfulness to the other person, and then you start acting on based on that kindness, then you never fall into the wrong verbal actions and bodily actions. Then you're kind to them. Your actions become more peaceful and calm. So these things you have to practice and choose by yourself. Because it is personally, sometimes you deal with your family, the kith and kin, very close people. So you have to choose the correct actions with the kind heart. This kindness in your heart can arouse based on the right view, because you know all these people's behaviors based on their past the habits or the past training, and these are not under their control. It is a flow of happening things. So then you can train yourself to be calm down and carefully consider these things and behave well. It is the way how you have to develop the right thing. Because your relationship to your body and mind, you cultivate based on the right view, right way of seeing things. In the same way, you take the other bodies and minds also through the right view. So then you are kind to other bodies and minds. Similarly, your body and mind. So then you can cultivate the right thing. The the actions based on kindness, softness, gentleness. non-harming thoughts, non-ill will, and non-sensuality. Because sensuality leads to the harming bodily actions and verbal actions. You just leave it alone for temporarily and calm down your mind. So, is there any other questions? Is it okay?
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. So, just curious, it's sort of like I feel like engaging in almost a bit of a conversation as you talk, even though you're speaking to everyone, obviously.
Yeah.
But so when you speak of like sensuality, like I'm trying to think of the negative qualities of greed, because I find it personally for me a lot easier to get rid of anger and hatred than it is to get rid of greed.
Yeah.
And like, so I think what's so bad about like I'm happy I bought this thing earlier in the week, for example, and I like looking at it and I'm like, as I'm coming here and things, and I still consider myself a practitioner. So, but you said that sensuality, is that like sensual desire can lead to negative actions of body, speech, mind, or maybe some education on why greed's so essential to get rid of.
Sensuality actually, the way of you are taking your sensuality. So it is important that it leads to the greed. So sensuality is a part of life. No, when you are living in your day-to-day life, these senses are work, and the choices and wantings arise in your mind. It is a part of life, but greed is a strong state of mind. When you fall into greed, then you don't have a control much. So then it leads to the strong actions. So that's why greed is not the very mild level thing. It is strong. So that's why the sensuality is a part of life. So you can't, but the sensuality leads to the greed. It is the dangerous thing. So in your day-to-day life, but when we are talking about the non-harming thought, non-ill will, and non-sensual, that leads to the higher states of mind. You know, non-sensuality is going beyond the sense world. So we can't expect these things from the people who are not practicing the path. So for the common people, it is good to know these things, but you are always in the sensual world. So the non-sensuality is difficult to avoid. The non-sensuality is difficult to achieve. But you can avoid the greed, the strong greed. Once it arrives, you can calm down it. So it leads to suffering. Greed is an unskillful mental state.
But when greed arises, by what mechanism do you
calming down?
calm it down?
Yeah, the good thing is to remind yourself, whatever thing we gain or we possess is subject to change. These are not permanent things. In the same time, your mentality related to those objects, that means your greed or wanting may change after some time. You can review back your past. So you had greed for some objects, but after some time you don't want it anymore. You sometimes now you are you have hatred towards those things. Early those days you crave to those things. You want these things. So you see this uncertainty of your mind. Mind is changing. So once you reflect on that quality of your mind, so you can quickly let go things. You know, now mind is saying, you want this, this is the best. But after some time you say, no, that is not the best, it's something else.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That could be easier said than done.
Yeah.
And if you look at, the track history of wanting things, being greedy for things, and then ultimately not wanting that thing.
Yeah.
But when you're in the moment,
Yeah.
you want that thing, it's very, I think, for me, it can be difficult to realise that, when the next moment comes along, I probably won't want this thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's what I told at the beginning is this talk. You had to train your mind to let go and calm down. So that's why this is when things, thoughts, these feelings, perceptions come to your mind, it obsesses. Because your training is just use the mind and work. Then the mental process is going on. So then your wishes and wills all come behind that one. Once these perceptions and feelings arise, all the volitions coming behind that one. So it is just the flow of happening things. When you understand this nature of your mind, and then you train your mind to be calm and review again and again whether this is true or false. So when you know about the nature of this mind, this one changed, these feelings, perceptions changed to different states. You have already experienced in past. So the present, whatever feeling, perception arising now may change to a different state. So then it is another way of cutting off the value of the feelings, perceptions arise now. So then you train your mind to be let go and be patient and review again and again. Think twice.
The training is to do the meditation.
Training is the meditation is the best training. So you reserve a time period and train your mind to behave well.
So the mind leads.
James, do you mind coming up to the mic so I get for the online audience?
So the mind leads all the thoughts, feelings and perceptions.
Yeah.
So that once the mind is trained to let go, be calm, be still, be present, those feelings, thoughts and perceptions, I'm assuming, will still arise, but then the mind has the capacity to go, oh no, it's just that old routine again. I'm not going to play that out. I can just stay detached, separate and still. Would that be a fair summary?
Yeah, it is a kind of a training. Once it arises, you just let it be. Not act based on those feelings and perceptions. This is a training. So that's why it come in third noble truth. When you train yourself to whatever thing arises in your mind, just let it be. Let it be and let it fade away. And let the thing to calm down. So this training is helpful when you are facing when the feelings, perceptions arise in your mind. You let it calm down first. Let it be. In the same time, your mind knows these things are impermanent stuff. These are changed to different states. These things have no big fixed value. The value always change to a different level. So if you have that, then you have a different relationship to your feelings, perceptions and volitions. Otherwise, you have a totally ignorant relationship. That means you strongly take these things as yours. That's why Lord Buddha says these feelings and perceptions are not yours. It is a part of the phenomena. Once you take as yours, then you want to deal with these things and you want to save yourself or you want to make it better, make things better for you. But if you take these feelings and perceptions are not yours, it is a part of the phenomena. It is mostly helped by your past the encounters and past things. And mostly the unskillful may be unskillful. So that's why first you keep it as something external. So this is a skill. This is a training to your mind.
Would it be correct to say this?
Yeah.
So the mind is sitting up here,
Yeah.
and object A or desire A comes along,
Yeah.
and the emotions and the thoughts and the feelings get aroused, but the mind says, no, we're going to stay in stillness. Yeah. Time passes, those feelings dissipate, and then without any desire, without any greed, without any craving, object A naturally falls into our life, say, or easily comes to us, say. Would that be the correct acceptance of object A?
Yeah,
So if something comes easily and we're not chasing it,
yeah,
we're not craving for it,
yeah.
would it be correct to say that then it's okay to have object A?
No, the thing is, whatever object come to your mind, so the come to your mind means you get the feelings, perceptions related to that objects. Okay?
Yeah.
Your mind is defined by these the feelings, perceptions at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
But the feelings and perceptions come after that moment. Regarding those feelings and perceptions is the next moment. You know, this is the sequential, the thing. So then, when you develop your mind, to train your mind to review all the feelings and perceptions right at the beginning, in a different based on different view, different perception. So then it leads to a different state of mind, you know.
Yeah.
It is a sequence of happening things.
Yeah.
So it is a training
But
to use your mind, accepting object. Because this eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind, the consciousness is already programmed and it is continuously programming. So that's why the feelings, perceptions arise when contact an object. Automatically arise based on the presently available data. But when you train your mind, when it takes it and let it be, and review again based on the different set of knowledges, and use it. It is like a computer work. It is happening in this mind.
Yeah. I do understand that, Ajahn, thank you. The question I'm trying to ask is that you've done all of that, and you have no desire for anything, but quite easily this object comes into your life. Then you grab it.
No, then you grab because you have the wanting.
Wanting's gone away.
Yeah, if there is no wanting, you let it fade away and disappear. Like the clouds are going on the sky.
But it might
you
be
don't control it.
Yeah.
It's just passing. Huh? Yeah, the important thing is you are cultivating a new habit. So the old habits are diminished. So that's why letting go habit is a new habit. You know, that's why it is skillful. Lord Buddha say, cultivate these things. Then you can experience the liberation. Once you experience the liberation, you know how to avoid suffering. So that is your wisdom. So that is the important part. That's why Lord Buddha showed us a path to get the wisdom. When you go through this path to the top, then you understand how to liberate. First, you are inspired to let go things. It is a part of the path. It is a part of your training. You have to get this training and achieve those states, mental states. Then you know exactly how to liberate from suffering.
So emptiness and non-self. Emptiness and non-self?
Emptiness is a perception. Non-self is also a perception. These things we use to achieve the liberation. So liberation from suffering. Once you achieve those states, then you understand where the liberation is, how liberation arises, who helped us to cut off the value of these five sense world objects or the mental world objects. Yes, self is grasping. But when you let go things and self, you train your mind to let go. So, but you have to achieve those states, then you know the liberation, where the liberation is. So first, this is a training. So that's why then when you train your mind to let go things, so then it becomes powerful. You can let go things. You can wisely reflect on things. That means when you go to eat, because still you have a human body, you have to maintain your body. You have to eat. So then when you see the delicious food, the craving arise, it is a part of the system. So you know, if there is a small portion and you have to share with many other people, so you don't crave, you just go and just take the whole thing. Because you tame your mind and you're kind to yourself and you're kind to the other living beings. Then you can take only your share. You give to others to also, they also enjoy these things. So then you develop a different kind of mentality when you train your mind to let go. So it is a training. In the same time, if there are a large number of, if there are a lot of small children, they like, you have eat. Now over 65 years, you eat. So you can quickly let go things. So you can fully cut off and let go. Let it be. Go to the small children and the other living beings. So that kind of letting go, you can cultivate, you can develop within yourself. So letting go is a part of this. Then when you develop this letting go to higher states, you can let go the whole five senses. That means the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, you can let go and go to the higher states of mind. So then you experience the liberation. So this is the initial part. So the see things in the right way and cut off and let go and practice meditation. Free your mind from all these, the five sense world objects.
Thank you, Bhante. We have one online question. Just before that, I'll read out one comment that someone made. I have recently moved house and understand what you say about resentment towards possessions that you once desired. They become burdens rather than enjoyment.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you for that comment. And the question that's come in is, Bhante, how do we develop the ability to be content with just the basic requisites? The feeling of not enough causes me to feel driven to accomplish and acquire more and more.
Yeah, the same thing. You have to think wisely. So whatever the feelings, perception come to your mind regarding any object, you have to, first thing, if you have the training to let go and be the only to consider the essential thoughts, because the thinking, this mind is the one who take all objects and run inside. So if you train your mind to cut off all unnecessary stuff and think only the necessary stuff, so that is much more helpful. That is the meaning of the second factor of Noble Eightfold Path. So nekkhamma, the non-sensuality, you train to non-sensuality, because the sensual thoughts always obsess in your mind. You cut off the value of this sensuality and let go things. So that is the reason why people possess a lot of stuff, because they enjoy whatever thing they see. Sometimes other people say, oh, this is nice, this is beautiful, you have to enjoy this one, that one. Or the advertisements and so many things come to your mind, and then you are naturally falling to do all these things. So that's why you have to see things. All these eye, ear, nose, tongue, body is impermanent. All the feelings, perceptions, volitions arise through this mental process is all impermanent stuff. Or these are non-self. Non-self means you are not going to keep these things. Mind is changing all the time. To whom you say the I there is no I exist. The today I is not tomorrow. Tomorrow is different I. That I don't want the stuff wanted yesterday I. So that kind of, so to which one you saying I. So this is a changing process. So when you are aware of this reality, whatever feeling, perceptions arising now, you can let go. You can let it be and consider twice. So whether this is essential to the timing. And this sensual pleasure is impermanent. These are change. So it leads to more suffering. So now that the question, the person who asked the question, he says that whatever thing he possessed in his previous house has a problem for bringing to the next one. So these are unnecessary, most of the things. I have seen many people say the same thing, that kind of things. Because they possess so many stuff, these become burden for them. So how to dispose these stuff? And some of these things they have sentimental values and so many attachments. But these are problems to bring to a small place or different place. So they want something new. So this is the thing. So this is life. Because you are fooled by the sensuality. This sensuality is not whatever feelings, perception arise in the present moment leads to suffering. That's what Lord Buddha say. Because you are wanting, craving change to a different level. It is a part of the system. It is not only for your problem. It is a problem with this consciousness. So you should not fool to this consciousness. So that's why this right view is important, to see things in the right way. Then you can let go things. You can calm down your mind and you use only for the necessary things. You can cut off most of the unnecessary stuff.
Bhante, your message was about skillful living.
Yeah.
Is that right? But a lot of things you talked about didn't give the message properly.
Yeah.
A lot of things couldn't understand. Let us walk this path. Okay. So you said that skillful living.
Yeah.
That's correct. So then you said the mind is the forerunner.
Yeah.
And that's correct. And mind can be trained. That's correct. And mind is has a nature of habit formation.
Yeah.
That's correct. Habits can be skillful or unskillful.
Yeah.
Then we know where do you put skillful habit, where you put unskillful habit. The habit formation starts first with the looking at things and interacting with the idea of me, mine, and myself. I. If that is not there, no problem. But we all see things and put information into our mind with the base of me, mine, and myself. We grant that we do it always. With that in mind, then you interact with things with greed, hatred, or delusion, or non-greed, non-hatred, or delusion. That is skillful, that's unskillful. That is where the skillful and unskillful comes. Then the habit formation. The Buddha says somewhere is Adinava, Aswada, Nisarana. That's why you're saying let go. That's what you should practice, always. Get a thing and let go. It doesn't happen always. But you have to retain the good things as well. Otherwise, you can't practice spontaneously interaction. So message is that the mind training, of course, we assume that we put our information with the idea of self, me, mind, myself. Then you see the things as greed, hatred, and delusion. We have to put this as non-greed, and non-delusion. Those are the skillful things. That is the path. That is what we have to practice. Yes, what are important? Mindfulness, associating with good people, getting information, and be mindful at the time. That is the essence of your talk, isn't it?
Actually, the important thing is that is not the correct way of the seeing thing, my teaching. So what I taught today, according to the Dhamma, so the basic thing is, there is no I, me, myself. You have to accept that concept first. Otherwise, you try to choose based on different other things, that this is good, this is bad. So it leads to the suffering again. Because first thing, there is no I, me, myself is the foundation of these Buddhist teachings. So if you don't use that knowledge when you are dealing with objects, because this I and Ostang, body and mind, is a natural phenomena. So the delusion is a part of this system. When you see something, your mind says, I saw this one. It is a part of the system, but there is no I. Why? This seeing is a process. It based on the causes and conditions in this moment. When it comes to a different moment, your seeing is totally different thing. You see something else. You something totally different thing. in the next moment. That's why Lord Buddha say you can't claim this I and Body as mind. So you have to keep in mind that reality in your mind. Because when you see, your mind say, I saw. But there is no I actually. Seeing is a process. Whatever feeling, perception arise in this moment is a part of the system. It is not yours. Not you see. That view is important. So then you have a soft relationship with the feelings and perceptions arise within yourself. So you can deal with these things in a different level. So that is the important thing. When you take at the beginning, I am now choosing that this is right thing, this is wrong thing, I feel like this, then you fall into the wrong thing. There is no you to feel. The feeling arises based on the delusion. All feelings, perceptions, and volitions arise based on delusion. That is the thing we have to understand. Delusion means whatever data now you have, it works based on that one. But the new data comes, it gives a different value to the same object. It is always processing. Until when your death moment comes, you have a new values regarding the living. So it is a continuous process. So that's why it is important to know these basics. That then you can let go things based on that view. So you can let go in different levels. In your day-to-day life, when you are dealing with your body and mind, when you are dealing with other people, you can deal based on this knowledge. You can let go many things. Arise within yourself and arise from external people's the actions. So you can let go because you know this is a natural flow of happening things. So then you can develop your mind to cut off and let go the five senses and go to the higher states of mind. Also, it is helpful. But the right view you have to use in your day-to-day life also. So then you are going in the right direction. Then you getting the path correctly. If you try to choose based on your choices and all these things, you take and let go. You are not taking. Taking is a part of the system. If you think that you are first take this is I saw, I me, this is I heard, I saw. So the next moment you have to understand it is a process. It is not I. So that's why when you develop the right view, when you listen to this Dhamma, and you have the faith, this is correct, this is true, then your mind tends to use this knowledge. This because it is just heard thing, what you hear. So then you use this knowledge in your day-to-day life. Then you develop the skill to calm down your mind and let go. So then you get the benefits of that skill. It is in your day-to-day life work. So the other state is the higher states of mind. So the same skill helpful to develop the higher states of mind and see the liberation. It is a different level. But it is helpful in your day-to-day life. And you are always using the right view or the right knowledges related to this five sense world. Because this delusion is a part of the system. It is not something separated. Delusion gives you that perceptions, volitions with the tag that I saw, I see, I saw, I heard, I smelled, that this kind of stuff. All these five sense world. I thought, this thought came to my mind. Mind works based on causes and conditions. So then you can let go things. So these causes and conditions change, these feelings, perceptions change to different states. So that's why Lord Buddha say all these consciousnesses are like a mirage. Mirage. It is, you are running behind a mirage. You are running behind your feelings, perceptions, volitions, you are running behind a mirage. That's why Lord Buddha encouraged people to see the cessation of these things. Once this consciousness ceases, you see the liberation there. Otherwise, always you are running behind something.
And just for the benefit To round off that conversation, Ajahn Brahm told me the best way to dissolve a delusion was stillness.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it. that is the last factor of the Noble Eightfold Path. You have to achieve it. Then you see the reality. So early, you just listen and develop these perceptions, non-self. It is just a perception for you. But once you develop your mind to the higher states, it is just a direct experience. Initially, you listen and develop this perception and use that perception to let go things, cut off and let go things. Yeah, actually, these things Buddha teach very clearly in suttas. These are perceptions. You take these things out of faith towards the preach or you can think wisely and analyze things by your mind and understand, oh yeah, this is true, this is worthy to practice. Then you take into your practice, and then you achieve, you get the freedom, or you cultivate unskillful mental state. Avoid all you cultivate skillful mental state. Avoid most of the unskillful mental state. States based on this view. So it is just a perception at the beginning. Later you develop to the practical level.
Ajahn, we do have two questions here. One is relating to meditation, so I'll get Langdon to ask that question tomorrow. The second question here is if someone says something hurtful to me, does that mean that I can just ignore it by letting go? Would that not be possible that I have unintentionally allowed that person to continue behaving that way?
Yeah, that is true. But you have to, when you are facing that kind of situation, you have to deal with that situation in a skillful way. So to develop your skillful actions, you should not fall into the hatred or ill will based on the other person's actions. So that's why to train to come to that state, you should train you to let go it first and be calm, be kind to that person, because this kindfulness, the kindness, gentleness, first you have to get to your heart. And then you can act correctly. Otherwise, when you directly react on this kind of situation, you may easily fall into the wrong actions. So that's why it is important to train yourself to let go first and behave well. Give the reaction, proper reaction, based on skillful means. Because it is helpful for the other person to calm down or to correct the thing or to give forgiveness. At least if you have done something wrong, maybe other person is scolding or doing something bad because your bad actions, so then you can ask forgiveness. So whatever skillful action, then you can choose without making a trouble. So not going to the much more deeper wrong states. Because sometimes you do something wrong. I have seen this in my life. So people do wrong things, and then the other person is scolding, they keep mouth shut, and they don't ask the forgiveness. Then the other person getting more upset. Because this guy now don't care about what I'm saying. So that other person want to point out what you have done wrong and how it is harmful to the others. But this guy don't want to listen, now meditating. That is not the thing I am telling. So you have to deal with wisely. So only thing, you should not fall into the unskillful verbal actions and bodily actions. For protecting your verbal actions and bodily actions, you have to practice the right mentality. That means you have to calm down your mind. Is there any more questions?
So this is the last thing that came to mind, but sort of probably the most pertinent, because that's how the mind works, I guess. In order to understand the world. This is just about the non-self, which you brought up a bit very early on when you started speaking. So I feel like in order to understand stuff, you almost have to be like, well, there's the world around us. Then this happens to us. I feel this way. It's how we make sense of what goes on, like, and choose our actions by interacting with, you know, reality based on how we experience it as an I. And so I'm finding it a bit, as usual, I find it a bit habitually I find it a bit difficult to conceptualize non-self. I'm going to just go on a little bit of a tangent here, thanks, because I think, like, well, of course, you know, saying like I is a convention of language. You know, my 2-year-old knows she's got a name and this sort of a thing, and it's like to say I and think your name, and you know, and it's way we make sense of things. So we can sort of grasp that intellectually as grown-ups, and when things happen, I tend to think more like, oh, there's a feeling, there's a sight, there's a this, rather than having an internal monologue that goes, oh, I hate this, I like this, that. It's just, you know, we're attracted to certain things based on causes and conditions, I guess. But so I've got, you know, some sort of an understanding of non-self. But I'll just drop one more quick thing. It was just thanks. So with this idea of non-self, someone completely, maybe if you could address this, if someone completely understood non-self, would they just not crave anything? Would it be impossible for them to crave and desire stuff, and would become, like, I guess, sort of a monastic type existence?
Understanding has different levels. Your question is, this understanding has different levels. Actually, when you experience the higher states of mind, then it is a totally different case. Then you don't have desire. So that is a different thing. But just when you are living in this life, when you consider things as these things arise based on causes and conditions, then you develop the ability to let go things. But the desire arises because you are not achieved the higher states of mind. That is the way how it works. You know, it is just helpful to cultivate the non-greed, non-hatred based the behaviors. So that is the only thing. You know, it is just a perception. So no need to, whatever thing you told is correct. So they just take the things as these things arise based on causes and conditions, or your past habits. So then you are not giving a very you can cut off the value of these feelings, perceptions to a certain extent, and calm down your mind. And develop the patience a little bit, and then revise again, review again, and the revalue and act differently, or your actions can bring to a different level. These things can develop.
I think it's about sort of, I see the dependent origination sort of nature of a lot of things, and I guess everything's like that. It's just goes back to, you sort of spoke about habits a bit, and replacing an old one with a new one, that takes a bit more time and effort than it's not just changed with a thought, because we've still got the energy of doing that habit over and over again. And it'll, you know, sort of always be there in a way until we replace it with something better. But that's thanks for that is the way how So now we are going to wind up. Okay, then I will pay respect to Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha and finish this. Okay.
Feel free to join us for lunch next time.
Okay. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivade Swakhato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namassami Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sangha